As you know, on Sunday I went to an anti-global warming, anti-pipeline, anti-meat, anti-police, anti-Stephen Harper protest in Toronto. If you want to see that video, you can click right here. There were a few children at the protest, but you know, I don't interview kids. I don't think it's appropriate. And really, what's the point? Asking a question to a child and stumping them isn't exactly an accomplishment. It reminds me of that Seinfeld episode when Kramer totally dominates his karate class. Remember this?
Are you prepared for kumite? Yes, sensei. Fighting stance. Hajime, begin!
Yeah, no point in debating children. So anyways, I was walking through the crowd at the protest when a mom called out to me and insisted I come over. She told me she wanted me to talk to her 9-year-old daughter. She said her daughter wanted to ask me if I believed in climate change and that we should record it on my camera. I told her that's not my practice, but she insisted. It was weird actually, but whatever. I stopped for a moment. I called our camera person over, but first I ensured the mom knew that it was iffy and that I insisted on getting her formal consent to talk with her child. Weird, I know, but here, you can see the end of that legal negotiation I had with her.
Permission? Yeah. My name is Catherine Porter. You have permission to talk to my daughter, Lila Bird.
Okay, hi, what's your name? Okay, a bit weird, like some pageant mom, a little bit too eager to show off her daughter, whatever. So then I put the microphone to her daughter and said, did she in fact have a question for me? And she did. She asked me the question exactly as her mom had told her to do. Do I believe in global warming? And I did my best to answer her politely. This all seemed really important to her mom, so I played along. Here, take a look. What's your name?
My name's Lila.
Hi, Lila, I'm Ezra.
That'd be nice. Do you believe in climate change?
Well, it's a good question. I think the obvious answer is yes, because over the course of thousands of years, the Earth gets warmer and colder. Have you ever heard of the ice ages before?
Yes.
And we're not in an ice age now, right? Are we in an ice age now?
Well, no.
So then I guess, and there's been more than one ice age, right? So the Earth has warmed and cooled over the years, right? I mean, tell me if have you heard of the ice ages? Have you ever, when the Earth was covered with ice? So obviously there was climate change since we're not in an ice age anymore, right? So I was having a conversation with her daughter. It lasted about 30 seconds. I was being polite and trying to make an argument that would maybe be persuasive to a kid. And I think to her mother's horror, her kid was actually engaging with me and actually nodding yes to some of my points. I mean, hasn't the Earth warmed and cooled throughout the millennia? Well, this wasn't going according to her mom's script. So she interrupted me to get her child to ask me a different question than her first one. All right, look, I'm not trying to win a karate contest against a 9-year-old, so I thought I'd move on to something friendlier, like her pretty sign. So obviously there was climate change since we're not in an ice age anymore, right?
Do you believe in human caused climate change?
Okay, well that's not what she asked.
I know, but
What's your sign say?
My sign is about the car of the future that doesn't leave carbon dioxide.
All right, so she was against gasoline-powered cars. So what kind of car does her family drive? Or what kind of car do you guys have?
A normal car.
Normal car.
What do you mean by normal? Is it an electric car?
No.
Well, don't we have electric cars right now? Like, isn't the car of the future here already?
Well, the gas companies don't want it to happen.
Well, Tesla is pretty successful, isn't it? Have you heard of a Tesla? No. Uh-oh, this was going off Mom's script again. Did you hear that part about the gasoline corporations colluding to kill the electric car? Do you really think a 9-year-old child came up with that conspiracy theory herself, or do you think that maybe her eager beaver mom told her that too? Now, I asked her if she'd ever heard of a Tesla, the most successful electric car ever made. It hasn't been killed. In fact, it's received nearly $5 billion in government subsidies. In fact, now the 9-year-old hadn't heard of a Tesla, but again, this wasn't much fun. It's not fun to debate a 9-year-old, especially one who has clearly been thrust forward by her beauty pageant mom as cannon fodder. So I asked the mom the same question. What was mom driving at home? Well, Tesla is pretty successful, isn't it? Have you heard of a Tesla? No. Can I ask your mom?
Yeah.
Have you heard of a Tesla?
I also have heard about how the electric car was completely kiboshed in California, but I know you know that too.
Isn't that funny? The mom said the exact same thing as her mini-me. The electric car was kiboshed in California. Yeah, I guess no one bothered to tell that to Elon Musk, who has a 5.3 million square foot Tesla factory in Fremont, California. Well, her mom didn't want to talk about the car thing anymore. She wanted to switch the subject.
But I know you know that too.
Well, I mean, isn't Tesla based? Where's Tesla based? Like they're producing them by the...
Do you not believe that the government should do anything about climate change? You're at a climate change march. What do you think the government should do about it?
Well, I'm not sure if the government can do anything about it. Certainly not the Canadian government. We're not the biggest emitters in the world. China.
We're the ones who are at the table very often right now, kiboshing all of the international.
So I had now been with this mother and her daughter for not even 2 minutes, but it was pretty clear that Mom was just using her daughter as her political surrogate. Mom was the one who called me over. Mom was the one who told her daughter exactly what question to ask me. Mom was the one who rephrased her daughter's question for her when she didn't like my answer to it. Mom was the one who had obviously taught her daughter to be an electric car truther. Unlike her 9-year-old, she didn't have much of an excuse for not knowing about Tesla herself. I couldn't help but wonder, that beautiful placard, had Mom designed that too? So I asked. Can I ask you a question? Did you design this poster for your daughter?
No, I didn't. I wouldn't have designed this poster.
Did you design your poster?
Yes, but my mom kind of helped.
I helped you paint it.
And who came up with the idea? Was it you or your mom? And who cut it out and put it together? That's a gorgeous butterfly.
My mom really cut it out because I kind of and stuff.
No, it's really well done. Boy, Mom sure insisted she had nothing to do with that sign, eh? Well, at least not much to do with it. I'll give her 9-year-old some credit for being honest. Okay, I really didn't want to talk to the kid anymore because I think I had figured out what was going on here. Here was a wealthy, white, liberal elitist who was going to a protest as part of a moral fashion show just to demonstrate how morally superior she was, and her greatest fashion accessory was her own daughter and her daughter's sign. But like everyone else at the protest, she actually loves fossil fuels just as much as I do. She loves air conditioning in the summer and heat in the winter, and plastics made from petrochemicals, and metal and jewels for her jewelry, her ring, that are mined from deep in the ground. They're moral posers, these people. They want to denounce the luxuries of industrial progress while enjoying them. I mean, listen to her explain why she owns a gasoline-powered car. I'm going to play 2 full minutes of it just so you don't think I'm leaving anything out. In fact, in the course of this video, I will play all 5 minutes and 42 seconds of my interaction with this mom and her daughter, not 1 second left out. So here's the next 2 minutes of our interaction. Now, how come you don't own an electric car?
I don't drive my car very much.
Well, then why do you have it?
Because we live in Canada, as you know.
Well,
it's pretty hard to get around many places.
So you're making a moral decision that your convenience is more important.
I don't think it's an individual choice, climate change. I think we all collectively have to make major decisions which are government driven.
Isn't that just an excuse for your own inaction?
Hey, I live in a province that has only green electricity right now.
Is natural gas and uranium, do you consider that green?
We don't run on natural gas right now. It's a very small percentage. As you know, it's nuclear and mostly hydro here, and because we shut our coal plants. So that was a decision that I can't make.
Are you pro-nuclear?
Well, I'm pro it compared to coal, yeah.
And how about natural gas?
Let me ask you, why are you here if you don't believe in climate
change? Because I'm here in a journalistic capacity, but you haven't answered me why...
You haven't answered a question, why you don't believe in human-made climate change.
Well, I'm a skeptic, but I'm trying to understand why you claim to care about global warming, but you still have a regular car.
You don't know anything about me. You don't know anything about me.
Well, I see you're holding a sign.
So I have a regular car. Sure, I'm here with my daughter.
You're here with your daughter.
Yeah, because I believe that you cannot individualize a solution that is a global problem.
Isn't that
all
called
of us needs to
shirking your personal responsibility?
No, you think that we can each personally deal with climate change?
Globally, act locally. You're not doing that.
Do you think we personally fought the Nazis during the war? Do you think it was a personal decision? Or do you think
For
it was a
hundreds of thousands of Canadians, it was. They went as soldiers. You're not willing to be a soldier.
Do you think that people...
You come here once a year with a sign, and you feel morally superior.
I feel morally superior.
Yeah, you haven't changed your life because you have a gas-burning car.
That's one thing. You know what, Ezra? This is what you do.
I ask questions.
You a question. No, you ask pointed.
You're a hypocrite. You're just like me.
I'm not a hypocrite.
You're just like
I've
me.
had green energy in my house long before.
What does that mean, green energy?
I pay extra for small hydro in my house.
And
I have a car. I use my bike.
And what kind of stove do you have? Is it gas?
I have an electric stove.
And so.
If you see if you can find anything else, I have a green.
Okay, well, let's start with your hat, your glasses, your backpack, your sign, your shoes. Your ring is mine. It's all fossil fuel petrochemicals. Okay, so I'm pressing back. I'm not shouting other than to be heard above the noisy protest. I'm not swearing, I'm engaging. I'm asking tough questions, but not rudely. The mom called me over. This wouldn't be fun to ask a 9-year-old, but I think it's instructive to ask a 40-something mom. I mean, how can you believe someone who doesn't practice what they preach? How can you say you're against fossil fuels when you're clearly not? After 4.5 minutes, the mom had made her key admission. And again, I'm going to play you the entire clip so you don't think I'm leaving anything out. Here's 1 more minute of me talking to the mom. Fuel petrochemicals.
The individual's decision to do you think I should be wearing rope then? That's how we're going to make solutions to this?
Well, depends what's important to you.
We live in a complicated time. Come on, we all are contradictions.
So in other words, you're not morally responsible for your own choices.
You think in our society I could wear only things that were hand knit by what? Out of my own llamas?
None of us is perfect. We're just trying.
Come on, I live in the same world you do. I live in a globalized world.
The answer is yes, you could, but you're choosing not to because you don't want to live inconveniently.
Tell me how I could. Please tell me how I could.
Well, you could get rid of your ring.
I could wear
everything.
What would I wear? Tell me.
Well, you wouldn't have sunglasses. You wouldn't have a nylon backpack. You wouldn't have.
What would I have instead? Tell me what I have instead.
You would have a bag made of hemp. You would have
all hemp clothing. I'd wear all hemp clothing. Made for where? Where would I get it?
Yeah, it's inconvenient, isn't it? It's inconvenient.
No, tell me where I get it.
It's inconvenient,
isn't it? Where would I get it?
Listen, you're the one who's morally superior. I thought you would have had answers. So she's not holding herself out as morally superior to anyone, eh? Well, actually, that's exactly what she's doing. That's the whole point of this protest. You have a more moral approach to the world than your enemies, and you want your enemies to change to adopt your own morality. But in this case, they're not willing to give up any industrial luxuries themselves. That's 100% about the moral preening. It certainly isn't about changing her own lifestyle. You heard her before. What's an individual to do? It's all someone else's responsibility. The government, the corporations, whatever. Not her fault that she loves to drive her gasoline-powered car. Am I right? That was the end of it. And here's the final moment of our interaction.
I didn't say it was morally
It's a
superior.
pleasure talking with you.
Oh, man.
Nice to meet you.
My mom is
It's nice talking with you. See you guys later. You're talking to my mommy. You know that, right? Obviously, the girl wasn't happy to see someone argue with her mom, but who would be? But that's what a public protest is like, strong politics. It didn't have to be like that, actually, but mom called me over and insisted. I'm glad I kept my conversation with her child very brief. Anyways, I went home and the details of this one interview blurred with the other 20 that I did that day. They were all identical in one respect. No one was actually living a low-carbon, low-industrial lifestyle. No one was actually taking any personal responsibility for their supposedly deeply held beliefs. Everyone was just out in the park for a sunny day of moral preening. But then I opened up today's Toronto Star and I read this huge headline. Get a load of this. My daughter's run-in with Ezra Levant at her first protest. Really? It was written by that same mom. Her name is Catherine Porter, and she's a columnist for the Toronto Star. She had set this whole thing up as a gimmick, a stunt for her column. She wasn't just using her daughter as a prop at the protest. She was using her daughter as a prop for the newspaper too. And the whole thing, calling me over, insisting I talk with her daughter, telling her daughter exactly what to say, it was all a setup for her newspaper column. Here, let me read the first sentence of that column to you. It's just incredible. My daughter's first protest started off with a fight. A fight? Did I fight with her daughter? Take a look. Hi, what's your name?
My name's Lila.
Hi, Lila, I'm Ezra.
That'd be nice. Do you believe in climate change?
Well, it's a good question. I think the obvious answer is yes, because over the course of thousands of years, the Earth gets warmer and colder. Have you ever heard of the ice ages before? And we're not in an ice age now, right? Are we in an ice age now?
Well, no.
So then I guess, and there's been more than one ice age, right? So the Earth has warmed and cooled over the years, right? Yeah, sorry, not a fight. But what do her readers know, right? I mean, they weren't there. Here's the next sentence from Catherine Porter's Star article. We were standing in a crowd of vegans on the lawn before Queen's Park watching right-wing broadcasting bully Ezra Levant cross-examine a man dressed up like a chicken. Lila asked what he was doing. I told her that he was belittling him because Levant doesn't believe climate change is being caused by humans. Huh? Was I bullying and belittling a chicken man? Here, let me show you who that chicken man was and how that whole thing went. How can I not talk to a guy in a hat like that? What's your name?
Peter.
Peter, is that a rooster?
Chicken, or I think it's a chicken, actually.
No, what?
But I'm not chicken to speak or anything.
Well, I'm glad to hear it. I like that guy there. He's got I was distracted by the 4 protruding udders.
The udders, yes. It's utterly ridiculous, I think. But, and I don't belch, personally.
Oh, come on. Everybody does. You toot occasionally?
Of course. Doesn't everybody?
Well, yes, and that's my point, is how can you be against farting?
We're not against it.
You're an anti-fart activist.
No, not at all.
You're pro-fart then?
Yeah, sure.
I'm joking around. We were laughing together, making fart jokes. You don't really need to belittle a guy already wearing a chicken suit or a banana suit or a cow suit, which I also saw there. They've already shown they're not trying to be snobby or superior like some liberal Toronto Star mommy blogger. I mean, here, take a look at how I went in and out of all my interviews that day and tell me if Catherine Porter is misleading her readers. Take a look. I'm Ezra. What's your name?
Inori.
What's your name?
Sindus.
I'm Ezra. What's your name?
Echo.
Echo, that's a great name. Hi, I'm Ezra. What's your name? Willie. It's a pleasure talking with you. What's your name?
My name is Anne.
Nice to meet you. What's your name?
I'm Jan.
Nice to meet you, Jan. Can I talk to you about the sign? Yes. That's a great sign. They're beautiful signs. See you later. Good talking with you. Listen, it's a pleasure to talk with you, sir. Thanks for being so open.
Nice to see you.
Thanks for saying hello. Well, listen, nice to talk with you.
Nice to talk to you.
Okay, see you later.
Okay.
All right, you guys. Well, thanks for talking with me.
Thank you.
Okay, see you. Thank you.
Not at all.
Why did Porter say I was bullying or belittling people? Especially the chicken guy, who was making jokes with me, and everyone was laughing. But here's the part that really bugs me. This is from Porter's article in The Star. Again, she wrote, she picked up her placard, talking about her daughter, she picked up her placard, a green car she designed with sunflowers for headlights, and marched over to ask him why. I let her go. I haven't decided if this was a good parenting decision or a bad one. In fact, part of me wondered if bringing Lila to the Jobs, Justice, and Climate March would backfire as well. Yeah, but that didn't happen. Her daughter didn't pick up her placard and march over to talk to me. That's just fiction. The mom, the Toronto Star columnist, called me over, and when I told her it's not my practice to interview kids, she insisted. We only turned on the camera for the last moment in that preliminary negotiation, but you can see Porter insisting that, yeah, I should talk to her daughter. It's okay to film her daughter as per her request. Take a look at this. Permission.
Yeah. My name is Catherine Porter. You have permission to talk to my daughter, Lila Bird.
Okay, hi, what's your name? Porter just made up the whole thing about her daughter marching over to me. I mean, it's not an important lie, but it's a lie. Lying to her readers and to her editor to make her story better than it was in real life, just like claiming I was mean to the chicken man. A lie. I mean, not a devastating lie, but she's supposed to be a journalist, right? She was writing fiction, though, with herself and her mini-me daughter as the heroes, and me as the chicken man bullying villain. And then this from the Toronto Star. My 9-year-old was preparing to brawl with Levant, arguably the one person in the crowd who would confirm her doubts. Yeah, no, the little girl wasn't preparing to brawl. She was standing silently while I had been talking to her mom, and her mom had told me in advance that she was going to ask me about global warming, and her daughter then repeated that question word for word, and I answered it. There was no brawl. But more importantly, the little girl didn't do much other than repeat exactly what her mom had just told her to do. And then she wrote this. "You're being mean to my mom," Lila whispered before Levant walked away. Well, no, I mean, she said something different. She said, "You're talking to my mommy, you know that, right?" Take a look. It's a pleasure talking with you.
Oh, man.
Nice to meet you.
That's my mommy.
With your right-wing agenda.
It's nice talking with you. See you guys later. I mean, clearly her daughter wasn't pleased, but again, why would Porter make up a quote that her daughter didn't say? Because she was making the story how she wished it had happened, not as it really happened. That's called fiction. But this was all published in a newspaper. Look, does it matter that Catherine Porter wrote that I got into a fight with her daughter when that's just not true? Does it matter that Porter claims her daughter went over to talk to me of her own accord when in fact it was Porter who called me over and insisted on the whole thing? I mean, does it matter that Porter claims I was berating the chicken man when in fact I was just joking around with him in a friendly way? Does it matter that Porter told me her daughter made the placard all by herself when her daughter says her mom helped her, and even in the Star, she admits it was done at Greenpeace headquarters? Look, it doesn't really matter to me. I've had worse lies told about me by better people than Catherine Porter. I don't really care. But I'm not a Toronto Star subscriber. I'm not a Toronto Star editor. I had a great time at the protest. I met a lot of colorful people. I had some lively debates, but sorry, no fights. I met some really weird people, but hey, free country, right? I mean, we had a few laughs. But to be honest, the weirdest person I met was this pageant mom who demanded I talk to her young daughter and then lied about it in the newspaper. She's a lot stranger than the chicken man and a lot less honest, don't you think? For TheRebel.media, I'm Ezra Levant.